The Cubs had a 4-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, so we're going to go over all 4 of those games. We're going to go over some positives, some negatives, and a quick preview of the Athletic series. All of that is happening soon on this episode of Cubs 360. Cubs fans, this is Jack from Cubs 360 Podcast. Thank you very much for tuning into episode 10 of the Cubs 360 Podcast. If you're interested in this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. So this is my series recap of the Arizona Diamondbacks series, which was a 4-game series from Thursday to Sunday. So let's get right to it. So in Game 1, the pitching matchup was Justin Steele versus Zach Gallen. So let's get right to it. In the first inning, Ian Happ struck out looking, followed it up by Tucker flying out to left field, and then Suzuki was saved at first on a throwing error by Suarez, and then Bush gets walked, which means Seiya goes to second, so 2 runners on base, and then Dansby Swanson flew out to center, so that's the end of the inning. In the bottom of the first, Ketel Marte doubles to center, and then Carroll lines out to left, and then Gurriel Jr. flew out to right, and then Josh Naylor singled to left, RBI single. Marte scores 1-0 Arizona, and then Moreno lines out to third. That's the end of the inning. In the second inning, Nico Hoerner flies out to center, Pico Armstrong gets walked and steals second, and then Miguel Amaya grounds out to shortstop, Shaw goes to second, and PCA goes to third, and then Ian Happ with a 2 RBI double to make it 2-1 Chicago, and then Kyle Tucker with an RBI single, that scores Happ, so it's 3-1 Chicago, and then Seiya Suzuki strikes out looking. In the bottom of the second, Suarez homers to left center field to make it 3-2 Chicago, and then Grichuk grounds out, McCarthy grounds out, and then Perdomo lines out to center, so that's the end of the second. In the third, Bush strikes out, Swanson lines out to short, and Nico Hoerner singles to right, and then PCA flies out to right field. That's the end of the inning for Chicago. Then Marte strikes out swinging, Carroll gets walked, Gurriel Jr. grounds out to the pitcher, and then Carroll goes to second, and then Naylor grounds out to the shortstop. That's the end of the third. In the fourth inning, Matt Shaw strikes out, Amaya flew out to center field, and then Happ hits a home run to extend the Cubs' lead to 4-2. Then Tucker gets walked. Seiya Suzuki flies out to center. Moreno singles to center. Suarez lines out to right. Grichuk hits a ground rule double, which puts Moreno at third base. McCarthy struck out swinging. Perdomo with an infield single to third. Moreno scores. Grichuk to third to make it 4-3. And then Marte grounds it into a fielder's choice at shortstop. Perdomo is out. That's the end of the inning. So it's 4-3 Chicago after 4 innings. In the fifth inning, Ryan Nelson relieves Zach Gallen. Bush singles to center. Swanson struck out swinging. Hoerner lines out to right. PCA singles to right. Bush to second. And Matt Shaw to a fielder's choice at shortstop. PCA goes to second. Bush goes to third. Matt Shaw is out. And then Miguel Amaya with a 3 RBI double to make it 7-3 Chicago. Ian Happ gets walked, and then Kyle Tucker strikes out swinging to end the inning. In the bottom of the fifth inning, Carroll gets hit by the pitch. Gurriel Jr. flies out to center. Naylor grounds it to a double play from Bush to Swanson to Bush. That was a very nice play by Michael Bush and Dansby Swanson there. So that's the end of the fifth inning. In the sixth inning, Suzuki singles to right. Bush grounds out to Ryan Nelson, and then Suzuki will advance to second base. And then Dansby Swanson struck out swinging. Nico Hoerner with an RBI single, which scores Suzuki to make it 8-3 Chicago. And then Jalen Beeks will relieve Ryan Nelson. PCA fouls out to third, and that's the end of the inning. So as we get to the seventh inning, Nate Pearson will relieve Justin Steele. Moreno gets walked. Suarez gets hit by the pitch, so 2 runners are on. And then Smith will pinch hit for Grichuk. Smith gets walked, so the bases are loaded. McCarthy hit a sac fly to right field. Moreno scores, and Suarez goes to third, so it's 8-4. And then Perdomo hits a sac fly to left. Suarez scores to make it 8-5 Chicago. And then Marte flew out to center field. That's the end of the inning. So let's get to the seventh inning now. Shaw grounds out to second. Amaya struck out, and Happ grounds out, so a 1-2-3 inning for the Diamondbacks. And for the bottom of the seventh, Thielbar relieves Pearson, and another 1-2-3 inning for him. Carroll lines out, Gurriel flew out, as well as Naylor. As we get to the 8th inning, Kyle Tucker will ground out to third. Then Jarvis will relieve Beeks. Seiya Suzuki struck out swinging. Bush with a single to center field. And then Dansby Swanson grounds it out, and Bush is out at second. And that's the end of the 8th inning for the Cubs. Porter Hodge comes in for Thielbar. Moreno with a single to left. Suarez struck out swinging. Moreno to second on a wild pitch by Hodge. And then Smith struck out swinging. McCarthy flew out to center. That's the end of the 8th inning. So we get to the 9th now, and Nico Horner gets walked. PCA flew out to right field. Shaw reaches on an infield single to third, which advances Horner to second, so 2 runners on. Amaya doubles to left, so a 2 RBI double for Miguel Amaya to make it 5 RBIs on the night for him and extend the Cubs lead to 10-5. Happ grounds out to second, and Amaya will advance to third. And then to end the inning for the Cubs, Kyle Tucker will strike out swinging. So we go to the bottom of the 9th, and Ryan Presley will relieve Porter Hodge. Perdomo flew out to left. Marte with a single to right. Corbin Carroll with a double to center. Marte goes to third. Gurriel Jr. grounds out to shortstop, which scores Marte to make it 10-6. And then Naylor will ground out to second. That's the end of the game. So the Cubs win 10-6. The winning pitcher was Justin Steele. The losing pitcher was Zach Gallen. And for every win, I will have 3 stars from the Cubs. The first one, or the third star, I should technically say, is Nico Horner, who went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Ian Happ, who went 2 for 5 with a 2 RBI double and a home run. And the first star, you guessed it, Miguel Amaya, 2 for 5 with 5 RBIs. So an incredible game from Miguel Amaya and from the team in general. Justin Steele, I will say, did struggle a little bit, but he was able to hold on just enough. And the Cubs win 10-6. And they went on opening day, and they start out 1-2. So with that, we will go to game number 2. So for game 2, the pitching matchup is Jameson Taillon versus Merrill Kelly. In the first inning, Ian Happ gets walked. Tucker flies out to center. Suzuki struck out swinging, and Bush grounded out to first. So right away, the Cubs don't get anything on. And then in the bottom of the first, Carroll grounds out to shortstop, and Marte will single to center. Gurriel flew out to second, and then Naylor grounded out. So right away, after the first inning, 0-0. In the second inning, Dansby Swanson gets walked, and he stole second. Horner gets safe at first on a throwing error by Perdomo, and then PCA with an RBI double, which scores Swanson, and Nico Horner will go to third, 1-0 Chicago. And then Shaw will ground out to Kelly, and then Carson Kelly, who has his first start as for the Cubs, in for Miguel Amaya. He will ground to a fielder's choice as short. PCA will go to third, and Nico Horner is out at home. And then Happ flew out to shortstop. In the bottom of the second, Smith will single to right. Suarez with a 2-run home run to make it 2-1 Arizona, his second home run of the series. Thomas will double to right. Perdomo flew out to left. Herrera struck out looking, and Carroll flew out to left. So there you go, 2-1 Arizona as we enter the third. Tucker fouls out to the catcher, and Suzuki doubled to left. Bush grounded out to second. Suzuki will go to third, and then Swanson grounded out to short, and the Cubs don't get anything on the board there. Marte grounded out to second. Gurriel Jr. flew out to right, and Naylor grounded out to second, so a 1-2-3 inning for Taillon in the third. As we go to the fourth, Horner will fly out to center. PCA gets walked, and he got picked off at first, so he's out there. And then Shaw flew out to right, so it's the middle of the fourth. In the bottom of the fourth, Smith will get a double to right. Suarez with another home run, his third of the series in the second game. And it's 4-1 Arizona. And then Thomas will double to center. Perdomo with an RBI single, which will score Thomas to make it 5-1 Arizona. And then Herrera sacrificed out to third, and Perdomo will go to second. And Carroll will line out to right field. Perdomo stole third, and Marte flew out to left. So that's the end of the fourth inning. In the fifth, Carson Kelly lines out to left. Happ grounds out to first. Tucker gets walked. He stole second. And on a throwing error by Herrera, he goes to third. But then Suzuki grounds out to third. No runs scored. And then Gurriel Jr. will double to left. And then Naylor will line out. And then Eli Morgan will relieve Jameson Taillon. And then a ground rule double for Smith to make it 6-1 Arizona. Suarez flies out to left. And Thomas struck out swinging to end the inning for the Diamondbacks. In the sixth inning, Bush grounds out to second. Swanson will get a base hit to right field. Ryan Thompson will relieve Merrill Kelly there. So his night is over. Horner will ground out to third, and then Swanson will go to second. PCA flies out to center. That's the end of the inning for the Cubs, as Perdomo will strike out swinging in the bottom of the sixth, followed up by Herrera flying out to center, and Carroll, who struck out swinging there. So 1-2-3 inning for the Chicago Cubs there. In the seventh inning, Matt will relieve Ryan Thompson, and a 1-2-3 inning for him as Matt Shaw struck out looking. Kelly will line out to center and Hap grounded out to first. And then in the bottom of the seventh inning, Brad Keller will relieve Morgan. And then Marte with the double to right. Gurriel Jr. will single to center. Marte will go to third. And then Josh Naylor with an RBI single. Marte will score, and Gurriel Jr. will go to second to make it 7-1 Arizona. Smith will strike out swinging, and then followed up by Suarez grounding into a fielder's choice to third. Naylor will get out at second. Gurriel will go to third. And then Thomas is up, and he reaches on an infield single to second base. Gurriel Jr. will score there, and then Suarez to third, so an RBI single there for Thomas to make it 8-1 Arizona. And then Perdomo lines out to right to end the inning. In the eighth inning, Shelby Miller will relieve Matt Ply. Tucker, Suzuki, and Bush all strike out, so 1-2-3 inning for Miller. And then in the bottom of the eighth, Herrera struck out swinging. Carroll gets hit by the pitch. Marte will strike out swinging, and then Gurriel Jr. flew out to right, so we enter the ninth inning, 8-1 Arizona. And Swanson will fly out to left, and Horner was saved at first on an error by Shelby Miller. And then PCA will fly out to left, and Shaw will foul out to right, so that's the end of the game. The Diamondbacks win 8-1. The winning pitcher was Merrill Kelly, and the losing pitcher was James Italiano. So as of the first two games, the Cubs and Diamondbacks are even at 1 game apiece, and we will go to Game 3 in just a second. So in Game 3, the matchup is Brandon Pfaadt for Shota Imanaga. In the first inning, Ian Happ grounds out to first, followed up by a ground rule double by Kyle Tucker. In the count, Pfaadt drops a foul ball, and at the end of it, Seiya Suzuki strikes out looking. Bush gets walked, so there's 2 runners on, but Swanson lines out to short. In the bottom of the first, Ketel Marte pops out to short. Carroll grounds out to first, and then Gurriel pops out to short, so 1-2-3 inning for Shota. In the second inning, PCA struck out swinging, Amaya lined out to left, and Workman struck out swinging. Gage Workman making his MLB debut in this game. Anyways, it's a 1-2-3 inning in the second inning for Brandon Pfaadt. And then in the bottom of the second inning, Grichuk doubles to center, Naylor flew out to right, Suarez gets walked, Moreno gets walked, and then Suarez goes to second, Grichuk to third, so the bases are loaded for the Arizona Diamondbacks. But then McCarthy grounds out to first, Grichuk will go home, Moreno to second, Suarez to third, 1-0 Arizona with 2 runners in scoring position, but then Perdomo grounds out to short to end the inning. In the third, Birdie, who will also make his first start as a Cub, will ground out to shortstop. Ian Happ will foul out to third. Tucker reached on an infield single to third, and then Suzuki struck out swinging. And then in the bottom of the inning, Marte flew out to short. Carroll singled to right, and Gurriel will fly out to right. Grichuk struck out swinging to end the third. In the fourth, Bush will hit a base hit to center. Swanson grounded to a fielder's choice to third. Bush will be out at second. PCA will also ground to a fielder's choice to second, and then Swanson will also be out at second. Amaya with an RBI double, which will score PCA to tie the game up at 1, and then Workman struck out swinging. In the bottom of the fourth, Naylor doubled to center. Suarez will ground out to third. Moreno flied out to center, and Naylor will be thrown out at third from a double play, an incredible play by PCA, by the way, gunning him out at third base, and that ends the inning. In the fifth inning, Birdie will single to right, and then Ian Happ will fly out to center. Kyle Tucker with a 2-run home run, his first as a Cub, which will also score Birdie to make it 3-1 Chicago. Suzuki will ground out to short, and Bush will pop out to short, so that's the end of the inning. In the bottom of the inning, McCarthy flew out to right, Perdomo grounded out to short, and Marte grounded out to short, and a 1-2-3 inning there. In the sixth inning, Dansby Swanson will pop out to second. PCA lined out to right. Amai grounded out to third, so another 1-2-3 inning for Arizona. And then Corbin Carroll will strike out swinging, as well as Gurriel Jr. Grichuk will fly out to left. So a 1-2-3 inning for both of those teams in the sixth. We get to the seventh now, so Jalen Beeks will relieve Brandon Pfaadt. Pfaadt had a good game in this game, 6 full innings. And Matt Shaw will hit for Workman. And Matt Shaw with his first MLB home run to make it 4-1 Chicago. Birdie will ground out to third. Happ will strike out, and Tucker will fly out to left field. And Shaw will go to third base in for Workman for the rest of the game. As we enter the bottom of the seventh, Naylor will ground out to short. Suarez is safe at first on a fielding error by Matt Shaw. Moreno will strike out swinging, and McCarthy will fly out to left. So we go to the eighth, and Bryce Jarvis will relieve Jalen Beeks. Suzuki struck out. Bush reaches on an infield single as he hits it to second. Swanson will strike out, and PCA as well. So we go to the bottom of the inning. Porter Hodge will relieve Shota Imanaga. Imanaga with another quality start. 7 innings in his first game of the season. Perdomo will single to left. Marte will also single to center, so 2 runners on. Corbin Carroll will strike out. Gurriel Jr. will pop out to first, and then Smith will pinch hit, and he struck out swinging. So in the ninth inning, Martinez goes in for Jarvis. Amaya grounds out to third. Shaw goes for the bunt, but he grounds out to Martinez. Birdie was safe at first on an error from Martinez, and then Happ grounds out to first. That is the end of the ninth inning for the Cubs. Now Ryan Presley will relieve Porter Hodge in the bottom of the ninth. Josh Naylor will single to center, and then Suarez will homer to left center to make it a 4-3 game. So the lead is now cut down to 1 for Chicago, and Suarez with his 4th home run of the series so far. Moreno will hit a base hit to right, and Hampson will pinch hit for Moreno. McCarthy will strike out swinging. Perdomo will pop out to second. Marte will get walked, which means Hampson goes to second. And then there's 2 runners on now, with the Cubs only up by 1 with 2 outs. Corbin Carroll will reach on an infield single to short. Marte will go to second, and then Hampson, while trying to go home, and he got caught between bases between third and home. Dansby Swanson will get the runner out on a fielder's choice, so Dansby Swanson will save the day. That's the final out. The Cubs get the win 4-3. The winning pitcher was Shota Imanaga. The loser was Brendan Pfaadt, and the save goes to Ryan Presley. Presley's first save as a Cub. So the 3 starts in this game. The third one will go to Shota Imanaga. 7 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 3 hits against, 1 run against. Just another quality start for Imanaga. Matt Shaw went 1 for 2. He got his first MLB home run. And the first star is Kyle Tucker, who went 3 for 4. Got a ground rule double, a base hit, and his first home run as a Cub. So with that, we will go to the 4th and final game of this series between the Diamondbacks and the Cubs. So in Game 4, Eduardo Rodriguez will be pitching for the Diamondbacks. And to start off, Ian Happ struck out. Seiya Suzuki will hit a base hit. And Kyle Tucker also struck out looking. Justin Turner gets a start for the Cubs in for Michael Busch. He grounds to a fielder's choice to short, and Suzuki's out at second, which will end the inning. Matt Boyd gets his first start as a Cub in this one, and Marte will strike out swinging. Perdomo will hit a base hit to left. Gurriel Jr. will line out to center, and Grichuk struck out swinging, and that is the end of the first inning. In the second inning, Dansby Swanson leads off the inning, and he hits a home run to center field to make it 1-0 Chicago. Nico Horner grounds out to second. PCA pops out to second, and Matt Shaw grounds out to second as well. So that's the end of the inning for Chicago. And then Naylor will reach on an infield single to second. Suarez will strike out. Hampson was walked, which means Naylor goes to second. So there's 2 runners on. Thomas flew out to left, and Herrera flew out to second. So that means the Cubs get out of the inning. In the third inning, Amaya, Happ, and Suzuki all struck out. Happ struck out looking. The other 2 swung on and missed. So that's the end of the third for the Cubs. In the bottom of the inning, Marte hit a base hit to center. Perdomo flew out to right. Gurriel Jr. lined out to left, and Grichuk struck out swinging. In the fourth, Tucker got walked. Turner got walked as well. So that means Tucker goes to second, 2 runners on base. And then Swanson grounds to a double play, and Tucker will go to third. But then Nico Horner flew out to right, so that's the end of the inning. No runs scored. Naylor gets walked in the bottom of the fourth, followed that up by Suarez flying out to center. Hampson also flew out to center. Thomas hit a base hit to right. Naylor goes to second, 2 runners on base, but then Herrera grounds out to second, and that's the inning for the Diamondbacks. So we go to the fifth now. PCA will foul out to third, followed up by Shaw grounding out to second, and Amaya also grounded out to shortstop. In the bottom of the fifth, Kettle Marte got walked. Perdomo sacrificed out to Boyd. Marte goes to second, and then Gurriel Jr. lines out to left. Grichuk struck out swinging, so we go to the sixth inning now. It is a 1-0 game in favor of the Cubs still. So in the sixth inning, Ian Happ gets walked. Seiya Suzuki hits his first home run to make it 3-0 Chicago, and then Tucker flew out to left, and then Ryan Thompson will relieve Eduardo Rodriguez. Turner grounds out to third, and Swanson will pop out to second, and that is the end of the sixth inning for Chicago. They extend their lead to 3 runs. And then Nate Pearson will relieve Matt Boyd. Josh Naylor gets walked. Suarez lines out to right. Smith will pinch hit for Hampson, and he hits a double. Naylor goes to third, and then Thomas is up to bat, and he hits a sac fly to right field. Naylor will score. Smith goes to third, so it's now 3-1 in favor of the Cubs. Then Carroll will pinch hit for Herrera, and he grounds out to short. So we go to the seventh inning now, and Horner will ground out to second. PCA pops out to third, and Straw struck out swinging. So pretty much a 1-2-3 inning for the Diamondbacks there. As we go to the bottom of the seventh, Marte gets walked. Perdomo flew out to left. Gurriel Jr. singles to left, which means Marte goes to second. So there's 2 runners on. Moreno will then hit a base hit to left. Marte will score, and Gurriel Jr. will go to second to make it 3-2. And then Fieldbar will relieve Pearson as Naylor gets walked. So that means the bases are now loaded for the Diamondbacks. And then Suarez will strike out swinging, and then McCarthy will pinch it for Thompson, and he grounds out to first. So the Cubs get out of the jam. We go to the 8th inning. Matt and Ply will relieve Thompson here, and this is the calm before the storm. Amaya will single to center. Happ reaches on a bunt single to third. Amaya will go to second. And then Suzuki will ground into a fielder's choice of short, and Happ is out at second. Amaya will go to third. And then Tucker's up, and he hits a 3-run home run to right, which also scores Amaya and Suzuki to make it 6-2 Chicago, so they extend their lead even more. And then Martinez will relieve Matt and Ply. Bush will pinch hit for Turner, and he struck out looking. Swanson singles to left. Horner will also hit a base hit to right, and Swanson will go to second, and then PCA strikes out swinging. And now Michael Bush will actually go to first for Justin Turner for the rest of the game. Thomas gets walked. Carroll will also get walked, and Thomas will go to second. And then Eli Morgan will relieve Caleb Thielbar in the bottom of the 8th. Marte will fly out to center. Perdomo will double to center, which means Carroll and Thomas will score to make it 6-4. And then Gurriel Jr. will homer to left center to tie the game at 6 apiece. And then Moreno will hit a base hit to right. Naylor will hit a double, which scores Moreno, and Arizona all of a sudden has a 7-6 lead. And then Suarez gets intentionally walked. Ryan Nelson, that's right, the pitcher Ryan Nelson, will pinch hit, while Suarez and Naylor both steal, so both those guys are on second and third. And then Nelson will hit a base hit to center. Naylor will score. Nelson will go to second, and Suarez was thrown at home to make it 8-6 Arizona. And then Thomas will hit a base hit to right, which scores Ryan Nelson to make it 9-6 Arizona. And then Colin Ray will relieve Eli Morgan. Carroll will double to center, which scores Thomas to make it 10-6. And then Marte will ground out at second. In the 9th inning, A.J. Pook will relieve Justin Martinez. Shaw will double to left. Amaya will ground out to short. Happ struck out swinging. Suzuki got walked. And finally, Kyle Tucker struck out swinging, and that's your final 10-6 in favor of the Diamondbacks. The winning pitcher was Justin Martinez. The loser was Eli Morgan. And I know a lot of people are complaining about the bullpen, especially because, again, 8 runs in that 8th inning, not good at all. But I think there's 2 guys in particular that I'm worried about. One, obviously, is Nate Pearson, and obviously Eli Morgan for that pathetic performance. At this point, you just got to hope that they can figure it out. I know the bullpen was a big problem, and people were complaining, but at the same time, I think it's a little early to say that, but there's a couple guys that you got to be concerned about right now. But with that, the Cubs split the series with the Diamondbacks 2 apiece, along with the 2 games in Tokyo that the Cubs got swept by the Dodgers. The Cubs are now 2-4, heading to West Sacramento to play the A's. By the way, the A's are the next series, and they're also 2-2. They lost 4-2, won 7-0, won 4-2, and lost 2-1 in Seattle against the Mariners. So based off these scores, the A's are a tough outing, so the Cubs are really going to have to step it up. They're going to start with Ben Brown with his first start of the year for the Cubs in the first game of the series, and then we will go back to the top of the rotation with Justin Steele and Jameson Taillon, so we'll see what happens there. And this is the recap, and I will see you after the A's series to recap that series. So comment down below your thoughts on this series against the Diamondbacks, and I'll see you for the A's series. Anyways, like and subscribe if you are interested in this content. Like I said, follow us on Twitter at Cubs360X. And that's all I have for this episode. So this is Jack from Cubs360. And as always, go Cubs go.